carries through the endless dark. Every soul ignites a tiny spark. Echoes of love in the vast unknown. Together here, yet still alone.
Talk about powerful energy. Lotus Dawn here with Blossom with the Stars, Through the Stars Sidereal Astrology. And I wanted to share an update. What is this full moon energy all about? What can you expect from these eclipse energies? What are eclipses? Why are they so powerful? Why are they so important? I'm super excited. I just got off of a live international call with women all over the world. Wow, amazing, and got to share my story with them and just buzzing from the energy of so many beautiful women coming together. Thank you so much to Cornelia and Lana for having me on board. And let's get into what is happening in the stars. So this full moon eclipse, the sun is in the sign of Leo and the moon is in Aquarius. So what does that mean? I'm going to go ahead and share screen. I'm going to take you to the actual sky. Now, if you follow mainstream astrology, you're hearing that this full moon is happening, the moon in Pisces, the sun in Virgo. However, that system astrology is actually based on where the stars were 2,000 years ago and is no longer accurate to the actual sky. That is why I follow True the Stars Sidereal Astrology. And so I want to take you to stellarium.org, where it actually shows us the actual constellations and the planets in real time right now to share with you what constellation this full moon eclipse, which happened at 11:11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, is actually in. So hold on here. I'm going to share screen with you. And I love Stellarium because it shows us the actual sky. And I love alignment. I love things actually being based on reality, on truth. And so I love following the True the Stars sidereal system because it's based on the actual sky. And so here we have the sky right now, just after the full moon eclipse. And I want to take you in to show you what's going on with the sun. And so the sun, which represents our soul, it represents our purpose, it represents how we shine individually and collectively, is in the very end of Leo. We're heading towards Virgo, but we won't be in Virgo until around the 13th, 14th of September. And so the sun in Leo is powerful energy, as Leo is all about courage. It's all about shining. It's all about sharing our gifts with the world. You can also think of Leo as being the sign of royalty, regality. It's often associated with the crown, wearing your crown. And so when the sun is in Leo, it's a good time to claim back our power, right? Our power to shine, our power to show up, our power to be seen. And added to that, the fact that Mercury, the planet of communication, is right with the sun in Leo, adds fuel to this fire of self-expression, this fire of sharing who we are, right? Really expressing who we are, communicating it, being brave, being bold, being courageous, being big, right? You can think about the lion being the king of the jungle and its loud roar, rah, right? That strength and that power. As I posted earlier, we just had the sun and Mercury move through Regulus, which is the heart of the lion, a very, very bright star, considered to be one of the four stars, the four royal stars, conferring great fortune, luck, and great benefit whenever planets are near there. So that was a very powerful aspect last week. And as we head into this, we're in this full moon eclipse, the sun and Mercury in Leo. One of the most intense things about full moons is that the sun and moon go into exact polarity at these times. In astrology, the sun often represents the masculine and the moon often represents the feminine. And so they're opposite, just like in our life, right? People say men are from Mars, women are from Venus. the sun and the moon represent two very different frequencies. And at the full moon, they're both shining in all of their strength. So full masculinity and full femininity. And that can sometimes be challenging when men and women seek to understand each other. It can also be incredibly powerful, like activating a battery, like activating our purpose, like activating our creativity. I mean, if you think about one of the most powerful things that a man and woman is able to do together, it's to create. They can create new life forms, right? Like a baby. Or if you're not necessarily having children or haven't had children yet in your relationship, you can still create together like a business, right? Or even as simple as in your own self, we all have the feminine and masculine energies afoot there. And so when they're opposite at the full moon, it's a very creative time. It's a very powerful time. It's a very activating time. And the power of the full moon often pulls and draws things up to the surface. So we're going to also introduce the moon into this equation. So here is the moon over here, directly opposite the sun in Aquarius. Okay, and so Aquarius is known as the water bearer. It is actually not in Pisces yet. It's moving over that way, but she was in Aquarius at the time of the full moon. And so we're going to talk about what does it mean for the moon to be in Aquarius. And it's actually at the full moon eclipse. And it's actually even more important than normal. And the reason for this is that there is something called a destiny point. How many people have heard of the destiny point? And what is the destiny point? The destiny point represents in astrology what our lesson is in this life. And individually, it means what is our lesson in this life? What is our biggest lesson we're here to learn? And in an astrology chart for the collective, it represents what is the biggest lesson that the collective is being asked to learn. And this sign, this destiny point, or some call it the North Node, changes about every year or so. And we just had a huge shift. The destiny point has changed signs. It was in Pisces, which is a water sign. It's was about intuition and emotion, retreat, developing our psychic abilities, taking time to go within. It was a much quieter energy, a much more intuitive, emotional energy. And now the moon is in the sign of Aquarius with the destiny point gone into Aquarius. And so what does that mean? What is Aquarius energy all about? Some people call Aquarius energy the water bearer, as they carry the seeds of the future. They carry the information of the future. A lot of people think Aquarius is a water sign, but it is actually an air sign all about the future, all about bringing our awareness into the future. And so this destiny point, changing signs, this is a big full moon eclipse because of this new energy that's being activated onto our planet. And so what is Aquarius energy? It is the energy of technology. It is the energy of the future. It is the energy of us really claiming our ability to share our gifts with the world. And let me get some pictures for you. Let's dive into what is Aquarius energy. Okay, so Aquarius energy. One example would be Nikola Tesla, someone who thought outside the box, someone who had a vision for the future, someone who brought forward new ideas, new inventions, things that hadn't been done before, things that were new. Okay, and so I'm going to share with you some imagery to help us dive into what is Aquarius energy. So Aquarius energy is all about the community. It's all about the future. It is all about being creative, being the inventor, being scientific. It's the sign of the new age, holding the vision for the future, a vision for a brighter future for humanity. And the focus is on service to humanity. The focus is all about How do we bring and do the highest and best and most good for the world? That is what Aquarius energy is inviting us to do. One of the symbols for Aquarius is the lightning bolt, and it relates to sudden, amazing, powerful flashes of insight and intuition that bring in or birth new ideas, new visions, new opportunities for the world to evolve. Okay. It is ruled by the planets of Uranus, which is the planet of change and unexpected happenings, and Jupiter, which is all about expansion. Aquarius energy is all about the future. It's all about community. It's all about these new technologies, these new ideas, bringing us together as a whole world, a whole community, a collective, right? It's all about the dawning of Aquarius. And so I like to share this song sometimes when I share Aquarius energy, as I think you'll recall it. Aquarius energy. Okay, so we've moved through the constellational signs. We were in Pisces, and now the destiny point and the moon are today in the constellation of Aquarius. Aquarius is located right after Capricorn. There it is, Aquarius. And it is all about the future. It's all about the new age of the future. So, what else can we share you about Aquarius energy? So, this is electric energy. You're going to see a shift in humanity, right? A shift in consciousness with this destiny point. You're going to see people starting to get really hip to this idea. Whoa, what just happened there? That really hip to this idea that Nikola Tesla shared. He shared, if you want to know what is going on here. Okay, so this song wants to be played, I guess. I'm going to stop share. Okay. I'll have to play that later. Okay. Something just took over my computer, but I think we got it back now. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this song really wants to be played. That's really funny. Okay. So I want all of you, I would invite you to go out and listen to This is the Dawning of the Age of Aquarius. I'm going to play this later. It's not working here now, but we're going to play this later. Okay. And so what I am going to do is I'm going to share with you what is going on in the sky with this Aquarius energy. Okay, there we go. So we have the moon. We have the moon opposite the sun, and it is in the sign of Aquarius. What does that mean? It means that the entire collective, the entire focus of the planetary body, the big lesson for humanity over the next year and a half is all about Aquarius energy. It is all about technology. It is all about innovation. It is all about new ways of thinking. It is all about imagining and envisioning a new earth for humanity. What type of world do we want to have? What type of world do we want to create for our children? What type of world do we want to manifest for the planet? And so when the destiny point, which represents the collective lesson for humanity, goes into Aquarius, it means that our collective lesson that we're all being invited to tap into has to do with ingenuity, has to do with networking, connecting with lots of other people, right? So feel free to share in the chat if any of this is resonating with you. Also, feel free to share in the chat if you have any questions, if you would like to ask me any questions about this full moon lunar eclipse, if you have anything coming up for you that's really big that you want to share, please feel free to share. We're all in this together, and that's one of the beautiful things about the focus of the destiny point being in Aquarius, because Aquarius is asking us, how can we stop doing this as a solo individual? And how can we start inviting, activating, and calling in our community, Aquarius is all about community. It's all about how can we do this as a team? And I love the saying, teamwork makes the dream work. And Aquarius is about holding that dream, holding that vision, not only for ourselves, but for the world, for the planet, for the collective of what we want to have happen on our Earth. What type of technology, what type of collaboration, what type of coming together can we create to draw this in for as many people as possible? And so it's very interesting because the planet that rules Aquarius is actually Uranus. And Uranus is over here, actually conjunct the Pleiades. And the Pleiades are known to be one of the star seed systems of the galaxy where supposedly these beings came to Earth and seeded or brought life to this Earth or brought light to this Earth. And Uranus is the planet of invention. And this planet rules the sign of Aquarius. It's all about innovation, new ideas. And this planet went retrograde, the symbol for Uranus being the lightning bolt. And this planet went retrograde yesterday, the day before the sign that it rules, Aquarius, is going to be involved in this big full moon lunar eclipse. So what does it mean? What are retrogrades? How might that be affecting us for Uranus to be retrograde? Uranus is all about change. It's all about shifting. And when it goes retrograde, it can mean that we're suddenly confronted with things we did in the past, things we invented in the past, things we created in the past, ideas we had in the past that maybe didn't make it all the way to completion. So maybe there's an invention, maybe there's an idea, maybe there's an electric idea of insight that you had with Uranus, but now it's retrograde. And maybe you didn't finish that idea. And so this becomes an opening. This becomes a spaciousness, a pause, if you will, to go back and actually attend to this idea, attend to this electric innovation that you visualized or you got the sense for, but maybe you didn't do it yet. And so retrograde planets actually offer a pause. They offer an opportunity to actually do something about the thing in the past that you haven't completed yet. And so retrogrades are all about redo, reassess, reimagine, rethink, regenerate, rejuvenate. And so it becomes a really great time to slow down a little bit around technology. So one really concrete example of this would be, do you work online? Yes, I think everyone's going to raise their hand. Do you have a business online? Do you have a website? Do you do networking? Where are you at with AI? Where are you at with technology in general? With Uranus to go retrograde offers us an opportunity to deal with all of that stuff, to confront it. And what that might show up as slowdowns with technology. Like all of a sudden you're working on your business, you're working on your website, and it's just, there's a slowdown. And you're like, oh my gosh, I thought I was past this. I thought I was going to get further with this. Uranus is asking you to slow down, to rethink, to reimagine, to redo the structure, to redo what was there and make it better. Now, those of you watching this are probably also really excited to learn about what a lunar eclipse is and why is it so powerful and what can we find out about it. So we've already shared that the sun is currently in the sign of Leo with this full moon eclipse, and the moon is in the sign of Aquarius. And so with the planet that rules it just going retrograde. So there is a sense of things from the past needing to be found. There is a need for things we haven't completed to be redone. And so there is, at the same time of a lot of new beginnings with this eclipse, a lot that is shifting. Alicia Law, serendipitously found you doing the live. Yay, so glad you found me. You're actually using your Bali chocolate to make some cacao. Awesome, that cacao, Alicia Law, isn't phenomenal. Okay, question. Best practices for today, also between now and solar eclipse. Do you also have a picture of the chart today? Would be key points today. Thank you. Perfect. I will address that. So Best practices for today. I will get to that. The first thing I want to share is all about what is going on with an eclipse. What are they? Because most of us just hear about them, we know they're happening, but we don't really understand the energetics of them, and that they've actually been, some energy around it has actually been brewing for 6 months before they occur. So let me explain. There are 4 eclipses every year. They begin in the spring, the first eclipse. And it changes. Sometimes the first eclipse is a lunar eclipse, sometimes it's a solar eclipse, and there is a difference. So when the first eclipse in the spring is a lunar eclipse, it's a bookend for something that happened 6 months prior at the new moon solar eclipse, and it's a completion. Good. Then there's the next eclipse. There's 2 in that pattern, in that cycle. There's the lunar and the solar, the new moon and the full moon. And so then you get to the new moon solar eclipse. And so for us, this happened in March 29th was the last new moon solar eclipse. Well, what happens is now we're 6 months down the line today at the full moon lunar eclipse. This is the completion of a cycle from 6 months ago. And so if you want to understand eclipses and you want to understand the best practices, it's important to understand the origination of the energy timeline that we're working on. And so the origination of the timeline started on March 29th. So I want to invite you to think back to March 29th. And, some of that might be fuzzy, like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what was happening. But try to think back here for just a moment. What were you doing on March 29th? Because today is the completion of whatever was happening at that point. The completion of energy, because the full moon lunar eclipse represents completion. It represents letting go. It is the biggest point, right? The moon is in the biggest point, and then the eclipse comes through and it sort of starts a reset. It kind of sets all that was there and lets it go. So if you want to really understand the energy today and really understand what to focus on, what kind of ceremonies to do, what kind of practices to do, it's very important to tune into where you were 6 months ago at the new moon solar eclipse. Okay, so just tune into that. Feel free to share in the chat if you have any aha moments, if you have any amazing recollections. I know for me, it was a little bit like, oh, I'm not really sure. What was I focusing? But it started me thinking. And so what period of time you were in at that point. And I actually went back to the astrology chart for that day and I looked at it and I saw how that chart was affecting my chart 6 months ago, what areas of my chart it was affecting. And I went, okay, so that eclipse was affecting this area of my life, right? It could be the house of career, the house of partnership, the house of money, the house of children, the house of the home. And I looked to see where in my chart the new moon solar eclipse 6 months ago was affecting me. And I went, wow, okay. So now, fast forward to today, wherever the chart is today, this is the completion. This is the focus that is completing. This is the journey you've traveled, okay? So the full moon lunar eclipse is all about completion. It's all about letting go. And when it is conjunct the destiny point, which is the future, it brings in the hint of what's coming in the future. So typically, full moon eclipses are more about letting go and sort of like a full release. But because the destiny point, which is now in Aquarius, which is the sign of community, the sign of the new age, the sign of us doing this as a collective and bringing that new vision to Earth, we are really getting ready for the next 6-month cycle, which will be begun on the solar eclipse, new moon, which begins on September 21st. So please share in the chat if that was helpful, if that helped you have any awarenesses. Oh, Alicia Law, you found one. She says, I was beginning intense health focus, food, exercise, joined gym. Woohoo, way to go. Fantastic. And how great has that been? So good to have you on board. And so Today is a lot about you letting go of something. It can be a way of thinking, it can be an emotion, it can be an outdated pattern, it can be something you no longer need, something that you're ready to alchemize or let go. And I was listening to Sai Ma, absolutely beautiful Indian guru last night, gazing up at the big, beautiful full moon. And she was talking about the times that we're heading into as being times of alchemy, of transformation, of shifting into our true self and letting go of everything that's not that, letting go of everything that is not our true divinity, our true light, our true beingness. And she talked about the power of alchemizing and placing into the cauldron of our heart whatever pain, whatever challenge, whatever issue is arising. And so the moon is a magnet and it pulls everything up. And so today, one of the most powerful practices you can do is to notice and sense and feel what the powerful energy of the full moon is bringing up to the surface. What do you sense? What do you feel? What is in your awareness? And sometimes we're not even aware of it, but you can feel something. And so the invitation, especially with the sun being in the sign of the lion, and the lion, Leo, is ruled, or the part of the body that the sun in Leo rules is actually the heart. And so the invitation or practice I would give to you today, Alicia Law, and everyone on this channel watching, is to utilize the power of your heart to alchemize any negative emotions, any stress, any tension. Especially, I think there's a lot of pressure on full moon eclipses or these big days to know what's happening and to do the right thing, right? And if we can't figure it out or we're stuck on, I don't know, what should I focus on? We get frustrated. And so I would invite you all to find a quiet moment today to just get into your body, to just notice what you're feeling, to just sense what's there and to allow it to be there. And then to place that awareness of whatever you're feeling into the cauldron of your beautiful heart. And just remember and know and feel and sense, gosh, you are such a powerful, beautiful, shining, beautiful heart. And your heart has the power to alchemize and to transform anything that could be coming up for you. And my guess with the full moon eclipse, a lot is coming to the surface today. Okay, so Alicia Law, you had some more questions. Okay, best practices for today, that heart meditation and being really honest with yourself, taking some time, know you're going to go socialize and that's fine. You can also share with each other, but really taking the time to feel what's coming up because the moon is a magnet and it pulls everything, everything, everything up to the surface. And so it's really important to allow what's there to come up and to arise. Now, I did make a chart for today, so I will share screen now and we can take a look at the energetics of the astrological chart. Here we go. And just sort of tune in and sense and feel and see. And this is from a little bit after the full moon eclipse, so it's not, it's a little different now. But you can see that the sun was at about 30 degrees of Leo, which is a fire sign, all about our power, our courage, about shining our light. And you'll notice that it's very close to conjunct Mercury, the planet of communication. And so we're really being asked to step into this fiery, powerful communication with ourselves. Maybe you went out and shined your light in some way today. So sharing something in your heart is very important. But I want to point out something that's going on that's very important to be aware of, which is that the South Node, I talked about the destiny point, what we're moving into, our future self. And that's this point here. It looks like, let's see. It looks like, oh, I can make it big and then I can move it up and then you can see it. That's great. I'm realizing that y'all probably on your phone, so it helps if I make this smaller so you can see it. So here is the moon in Aquarius at about 19 degrees, conjunct the destiny point today at this full moon lunar eclipse. And when the moon, which we're having the eclipse with, is with the destiny point, it can mean that we're really being called into our future. We're really being called into our destiny. We're really being called into what we're growing into with Moon in Aquarius and North Node in the Aquarius. It's really asking us to be aware of our community, to be interested in the future, to be interested in working together, collaborating, and putting the focus less on ourselves and more on the collective, more on the community, more on the tribe, assisting others to have a positive life, to have a positive experience, to create the best possible scenario, the best possible world for our children, for ourselves, for each other. And it's really interesting because directly opposite the moon and the destiny point, so we're being called into our future to act in alignment with our community, with our vision with technology, to utilize new types of technology. That could include things like using a rife machine, that could include things like using a frequency machine, using light, using sound, things that are new technologies have become very beneficial with the destiny point being activated here. It's inviting us to grow beyond the confines or limitations of the past and to really embrace new cycles, new technologies, new groups, new communities, while it is directly opposite. Let's see here. The sun. And the sun is in Leo, which is all about shining. One of the challenges with Leo can be a little bit of a bent towards selfishness. We become like, we really want to be seen, we really want to share, we really want to express ourselves. And the sun is exactly conjunct the south node or the karma point, which represents the past. And so the collective karma point that we're going to all be working on over the next year, which is really highlighted at this full moon eclipse, is in the sign of Leo. And Leo, of course, is the lion. It's about performance, it's about shining, it's about sharing, it's about expressing who we are and being the center of attention. Just like the sun has a circle in the center of it, Leo is ruled by the sun and is all about being the center of attention. And so when the karma point is in Leo, it means that we need to watch out for this over the next year. And this is the karma we're working on clearing. We're working on the need to be seen. We're working on the need to be the center of attention. And it's really good to be brave and courageous and to get out there and to share our purpose and to share our light with the world. It's so beautiful and it's so healing and it's such a gift. However, there's a difference between sharing our gifts, sharing our work, sharing our talents, and needing to be seen, needing to be the center of attention, versus doing it out of a state of love, doing it out of a state of sharing in an open and beautiful way. And so this can mean over the next year with the karma point in Leo being activated by the sun today, we have to be careful of selfishness. We have to be careful of stealing the show or stealing the spotlight and instead take that microphone and then give it back to the community. And so I want to do that right now. And I want to invite anyone who's watching right now. Do you have any questions? Is there anything you would like to share in the chat that I can share with the community? Because it's really important for all of us this year to include the community, to include other people, to open the door to other voices, to other thoughts, to collaborate, to network, to share the floor, if you will, and bring more voices to the table. Because the karma point means that we are clearing a pattern of selfishness. We are clearing a pattern of needing to be the center of attention. And we are instead, with the destiny point being down here in Aquarius, we're opening up to what is the best for the world? What is the best for our community? What is the best for my tribe? How can I include more people into the discussion, more people into the conversation? How can we open the floor and the door to more sharing in our world? Okay. Another challenging thing that I'm noticing, and probably the biggest challenging thing that's going on today in the astrological chart, is an opposition. And an opposition typically means, or polarity, between two planets. And we have this polarity going on between Chiron, And how many of you out there have heard about Chiron? How many of you are familiar with Chiron? What is Chiron? Anyone want to put in the chat? What is Chiron energy? Right. Oh, and Alicia Law says, this is really beautiful. I think this is especially relevant in the world right now, particularly with AI. And it is, yes. So the destiny point is in the sign of AI. Aquarius is the sign of technology. And Uranus, which is the planet that rules Aquarius, just went retrograde. And so what that can mean is that there's going to be a lot of talking about AI. There's going to be a lot of discussion about technology. Is it safe? What are the risks? What are the benefits? How can we use it the best way? Okay? And we're going to be thinking about this use of technology in our lives. And what's really fascinating to me, you guys, and I think this is so appropriate, is that Uranus, the planet that went retrograde, that rules the sign of technology, Aquarius, is in the sign of Taurus. And Taurus is all about nature. It's all about Mother Earth. How interesting, right? And so we have the destiny point in the sign of technology, Aquarius. But then we have the planet that rules it in the sign of Mother Earth and nature, Gaia. And as I watched the call with Sai Ma last night, who's just this absolutely powerful, beautiful, amazing guru, a woman from India, she spoke about the power of Mother Earth and nature, and that Mother Earth is literally coming online. She is becoming awakened, and that the more we connect to the earth, the more we connect to nature, we are going to be empowered. We're going to not only be empowering ourselves, we're going to be empowering the whole planet. And so I feel like there's this big conversation that's beginning to develop with Uranus being the planet that rules the sign of technology, Aquarius, being actually in the sign of nature, Taurus, which is all about the earth. It's all about grounding. And I think one of the technologies that's going to be really amplified, really focused on, really coming to the forefront with the North Node being in Aquarius is going to be nature technologies, like grounding, right? And we've all seen or heard about the movie about grounding and the power of nature, taking off our shoes and getting more connected to the earth, giving ourselves more energy, more power, more life force. If you haven't watched the movie about grounding, go find it because it will change your life. It will rock you when you realize that our bodies are electrical, and the best way to utilize our bodies is for them to be grounded. Just like a house needs to be grounded, our physical bodies, in order to operate the best, need to be grounded. And so with the ruling planet of the destiny point for all of humanity being in the sign of nature and it being retrograde right now, means that we're being asked to think about our connection to nature. Do we get enough time outside? Do we get enough time grounding? Are we in balance with our use of technology and our involvement with Mother Earth? Are we still going out into the garden? Are we still walking outside? Are we still tuning into trees? And so this conversation, this interesting relationship between Mother Earth and technology is going to be super emphasized with this full moon eclipse and with this entire next year. And so I would actually say if you wanted to invest in something that might get a really great return, it would be nature technologies. There's actually one nature technology I thought was mind-blowing where they're actually plugging in like a device into a plant, and the plant is then through a speaker producing sound. And so you're literally hearing the vibrational frequency of the plant singing, right? And so there is going to be such an activation of Mother Earth, nature, and technology. And it's going to be what is going to allow us, I think, to go forwards with technology in a way that's harmonious, that's healthy, and it's balanced. And I would say one of the really big things for the next year to focus on is bringing our relationship with technology and our relationship with nature into harmony and into balance. Oh, this is great. Alicia Law, you just shared, your feet are currently on a grounding mat. Yes. And so, grounding mats, watching the movie about earthing, learning about the electrical system of the body, that's another key element of this moon and destiny point being in Aquarius. Aquarius is all about our electrical system. Yeah, so our electrical system is what they use in acupuncture, for instance. When you go in to get a treatment, they utilize the energy system of the body to treat it. And so, one of the most powerful medicines that you could pursue this year would be anything having to do with your electrical system, with how your electrical system functions and works. And I know we had a really incredible, amazing acupuncturist watching our live here earlier, Ahuti. She's located in Santa Cruz, California. So if you're in that area, look Ahuti up. She's amazing. And I love her work. And so if you're dealing with any health issues, one of the most powerful things, the two most powerful things I'm going to suggest this next year, and maybe coming to the surface to be dealt with now, are going to be grounding and things that deal with the electrical system, like a Rife machine, a frequency machine, or acupuncture, or TFT tapping. I know you all are familiar with that. The TFT tapping that Michael and I share with you all actually works on the electrical system. So if you're doing tapping, this is going to be an actually really powerful focus for helping you to clear your body this year. Okay, so I wanted to share with you the most challenging thing I've seen with this full moon eclipse, which is an opposition, as I was saying, between Chiron, which, how many out there are familiar with Chiron? I know I've talked about it a lot. And Chiron basically represents our biggest wound and where we still be wounded. Okay, Alicia Law had a question here. Would tapping be good as it would deal with the meridian system? Yes, I just spoke to that. Tapping is incredibly good this next year, especially because the destiny point is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about the energetic system of the body. And the moon today is conjunct the destiny point, which is our emotions. And the tapping system, one of the things I love, love, love about tapping, even in some ways beyond acupuncture, is that there's this process of rubbing this area of your chest here, the collarbone, which stimulates the neurolymphatic system, which is a process of saying things like, even though I'm feeling, I still love and accept myself. And it's this process of really diving into your feelings and your emotions and then tapping specific points to clear the meridians when you're having a challenge or an issue. And this is the work that Michael and I share with our live calls. We do a live energy clearing once a week if y'all are interested in jumping on board. We also do wealth clearings. We do all kinds of energy clearing work. So if you're interested in finding out more, please let us know. Yeah, Alicia says, I think we're on similar wavelengths. I type it and you will reply to it before you see the message. That's funny. Yeah, yeah. And so one of the things about this destiny point in Aquarius and the moon being here is that you might find that you're psychic over the internet, for instance. You start having these psychic encounters via text or chatting. And because one of the things that Aquarius is here helping to teach humanity is actually teaching us how to become psychic. And one of the best ways we're doing that is through the technology. It's helping us to start learn how to activate our psychic abilities via, right, text, through calling. Oh, I was thinking about you, and then you called, or I knew you were going to call, and then you called, or you said the thing I was thinking. And so we're starting to become more psychic through our technology. And so Aquarius is really acting like a training wheels to help us open up the powers of our mind, open up the powers of our psychic abilities, and using a device, practice it. And eventually our society will probably be moving into much bigger abilities. Even Saima talked about it. She's like, we're going to eventually be levitating, right? We're going to be just psychic and aware about everything. I'm like, wow, that is cool. Looking forward to that. Okay. So now I want to share with you, are you guys ready to hear maybe the more challenging aspect of today? And just know if it triggers anything, we can use some sore spot. We can get through it. Chiron, the wounded healer, is still retrograde, which means, and it's in Pisces, which is the sign of spirituality. It's our sign of our connection to God. And so Chiron being retrograde here has kind of been showing up with us having very deep emotional traumas from our past, typically past lives, related to God, related to spirituality, that are being brought up to the surface. And nowhere does that happen more than at the time of the full moon eclipse, where our spirituality, our connection to source, that's really at the core of every issue we're dealing with. I once worked with a Chinese medicine healer, and in their culture, they talk about the fact that the root cause of all dis-ease is at the level of the soul. He says the soul is the top, then it comes down into the energy body, and then it's the physical body. And so if you want to treat any illness, any challenge, any issue, really the best place to start is at the level of the soul. And Pisces energy really is about the level of the soul. And so when you have Chiron, the wounded healer, in Pisces, and we've had this for the last year because Pisces takes 47 days to move through that sign. So we've had this for a long time, this last year. It can also relate to the possibility of religious wars, fighting about different spiritual paths, having confusion about spiritual paths, having confusion about our psychic abilities, about our psychic awareness. You could have past life traumas where you were incredibly psychic and then horrible things happened. And now you're like, no, 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 I don't want these gifts. I don't want these powers because things went wrong in the past. And so all of this is coming up. And then today, at the time of the full moon, which is peak energy, which brings everything up to the surface, we have the planet Mars, which is the planet of action, the planet of leadership, the planet of energy, directly opposite Chiron. So what does that do? Well, it can stimulate the wound that Chiron is bringing up, the wound about your psychic abilities, the wound about your spirituality, the wound about how you feel about God, your spiritual path, your religion, right? So here we get back down to Chiron in Pisces, and the fact that it's directly opposite Mars could mean that it's activating. It could be bringing up conflict. And, one example that comes to mind is when I think about like the Far East, right? And the conflict happening between Ukraine and Russia, and also the conflict between the Middle East, right? And how long that's been going on, and how we're so sick and tired of the fighting, because one thing Mars represents is fighting and war. And Pisces represents the wound, right? Probably the wound of war, the wound of what's happened between groups because of the spiritual differences. And this is such a deep wound. And so while we have this Leo Aquarius energy around shining our light, but also being aware of sharing that light with the community. And then we have this Mars opposite the Chiron, or the wounded healer. It could be emotional. Like, is anyone out there feeling exceptionally emotional? What this can mean is that Mars is acting as an agent of action to bring up to the surface core wounds around our spiritual path, around our spiritual connection, around how we feel about God, how we feel about source. And so some of the ways that what's happening is that this is being brought up to the surface to be healed and to be released and to be cleared. And so as I'm bringing this up, it's bringing up a very dense, very intense energy. You can write in the chat if you're noticing the emotional energy that this Mars opposite Chiron is bringing up. It's like, we don't want to fight anymore. We don't want any conflict anymore. We want everyone on the planet to be happy and healthy and well. Wow, Alicia Law. Okay, so this is bringing up a lot of energy. So this is me literally. Okay, so if you're out there and you've been feeling this deep emotion of the world, like it almost feels like this deep, deep sadness of like, I'm so sick and tired of the world hurting. I'm so sick and tired of the tears of the earth. I'm so sick and tired of the fighting. why don't we go ahead and let's confront this? Because if you're feeling it and I'm feeling it and the astrology chart is showing it, then more than likely this is a collective issue. So what I'm going to invite you to do is just to do rub right here. And one of the first steps, and I have to move my handy dandy little mini mic here. This thing is so helpful. Is we're just going to rub this area right here, which is known as the neural lymphatic point. And I just want you to tune in. And you're like, oh my God, Lotus, this is such big energy. This is such deep emotion. And we're on a live call. This is intense. And it is intense. The world is an intense place right now. And that is a very intense astrological aspect. Okay. And so let's confront this, because the more we confront what's there, and that's what the full moon eclipse is all about, is letting go, letting the deep emotion that's buried inside come up to the surface, feel it, allow it, and heal it. And I want you to tap the side of your hands together. Whew, I want you to take a nice deep breath in and out. I want you to think about the frustration about whatever's happening in your life right now, the frustration about the situation of the world. It's almost like there's anger. So Mars can represent anger, and then Chiron, the wounded healer, represents grief. So it's almost like anger about the grief, like anger about the situation of the world. Okay. And so if we're all feeling this, this is a really good time to help clear it for the collective, for the planet. You can tap the side of your hands together. You can come back to your neurolymphatic center. I want you to think about the trigger. Even though this brings up so much pain, so much sadness, so much grief. When I think about the world, when I think about the situation of the world, it's literally overwhelming. It's okay. I still love and accept myself, even though the thought of people dying is just so heartbreaking. And it's like, why does this have to keep happening? It's okay. Oh, I still love and accept myself. With this sun in Leo and the moon in Aquarius, the destiny point in Aquarius, it shows me that this next year is going to be all about finding positive solutions with technology to help heal the world. It's very powerful. So tap the sides of the hands, take a deep breath in and out. Feel the intensity of this intensity of this energy on the planet, and just know it's okay. Whatever's coming up right now, it's okay. Please feel free to share in the chat how this healing is going for you. If you're noticing things, what you're noticing, if there's anything specific that's coming up for you that would like to be addressed. So you can come back to your tender spot. It's okay. So even though I feel this intense energy and it's heavy and it's dense and I don't quite know what to do with it, it's okay. I still love and accept myself. It's okay for me to be feeling what I'm feeling. It's okay for me to be where I'm at. Good. And just take a nice deep breath in and out. Good. And then I want to invite you to tune into any stress or challenges that are coming up for you today with this full moon eclipse, anything you're feeling in the collective. And I'm going to share with you my process, my energy clearing process, where you utilize your hands and literally rub your hands together. And this activates every single point, meridian point of the body, every organ. Okay. And so you're going to rub your hands together. You're going to take a deep breath in and out. I want you to think about the world, the stress of the world, anything that this full moon eclipse is bringing up to the surface in your body. Feel the intensity of it. Put it into your hands. Imagine that your hands are like a battery. Your hands are like a magnet. You're creating a magnet that is then going to help clear out anywhere in your body that you feel intensity, that you feel pain, that you feel restriction. You shake out your hands. Just letting it out, letting it go. Doing great, everyone. Tune back into your body, rub your hands together. Tune into what you're feeling. Tune into what you're feeling. Where in your body is the tension? Where is the issue? Where is the pain? Where is the grief? Where is the sadness? Where is the loss? That's the intensity of today. That's what this is bringing up for us to heal it, for us to clear it, for us to transmute it and transform it. You can shake out your hands again. Oh, so much yawning as we release. Yawning is good. It means we're clearing the energy field. You can rub your hands together again. You can take a nice deep breath in and out. I want you to tune into where in your body do you feel any intensity? Where do you feel any stress? Shake it out. Give it up to the moon. Good. I want you to tune into any grief or sadness or anger or loss about the world, pain in your body. I want you to ask yourself, could I let this go? Because we are the creators of our reality. We're the co-creators of this earth. And so whatever we're vibrating out into the universe gets created. And so the more we can clear energy, clear old vibrations and patterns and stuck things, we can create a new world, a new earth, a new reality. So rub your hands together, tune into your body. Where do you feel any stuck energy that got brought up from today's call, talking about, thinking about the eclipse, thinking about emotions, thinking about this Chiron with Mars energy? Good. Could you let it go? Would you let it go? When? Rub your hands together, turn your hands into a magnet and allow that magnet to pull up and out any tension, any sadness, any grief, any loss. Could you let this go? Would you let this go? When? Good. And by the power of God, by the power of Source, by the power of the creator of all that is, it is commanded that any stress, any tension, any sadness, any grief, any loss, any pain, any anger, anything at all that's being brought up or let down by this full moon energy, by Chiron with Mars, it is commanded that all this stuff, stuck energy, be allowed to fully and completely release and clear out of us, out of this earth, out of the energy fields. We command it to be released, cleared, pulled, transmuted, and transformed, released and cleared out of the core, genetic and soul level, and replaced on all levels, pulled and resolved on the historical level, and replaced on all levels with the Creator's truth and definition of pure, unconditional love and light. Good. Forgiveness, compassion, peace and calm, happiness, love, and joy. Feel the tingling in your hands. I'm going to just ask God to fill you all up with pure golden love and light, forgiveness and compassion. And I ask God to give you as many spirit replacements as you need to fully feel the lightness and brightness of your soul, yourself, your heart, your mind, your being. Just inviting the pure unconditional love and light of the creator of all that is to fill you up, to heal you from the inside out, knowing that you are pure unconditional love and light. You are love. You are light. And holding the intention and setting the prayer for peace to our earth, peace within us, peace for all beings, letting go of anything that no longer serves us, and opening up the door to receive pure unconditional love and light from Source. You just feel that beautiful energy come washing in, filling you up. And just knowing that we are all one beautiful, interconnected heart, shining divine love and divine light out into the cosmos together. A tribe, a family, a community, a shining bright light, all of us. And as we hold this vision and this intention, we feel the whole earth filled with divine, unconditional, beautiful, bright, vibrant love and light. And we see that fill up our own bodies. We see it fill up the earth. And we just say, may all beings on this earth be happy, be healthy, be free, and filled with the infinite love and light and compassion of all that is. Thank you, God. I thank you all for joining me today to hold this vision of our earth, of our human family coming together, cooperating collectively, individually to create the most beautiful planet, the most beautiful earth. We're all co-creating, collaborating this, bringing it into form. You are all doing beautiful work. May you remember, allow, and receive the blessed love and light source that you are. Biggest love. Aloha and happy full moon, lunar eclipse. May you release all that no longer serves you, and may you allow and open and receive all of the beautiful gifts and blessings that are here for you today, right now. They are yours, they are you, because you are pure love and pure light. Biggest love. Aloha.
The moon is heavy, hanging low tonight. Shadows dance in the neon light. Hearts collide like waves in a storm, lost and found where dreams are born. Full moon eclipse, we rise under the oneness skies. Blossom with the stars so high, our world unites tonight. A whisper carries through the endless dark. Every soul ignites a tiny spark. Echoes of love in the vast unknown. Together here yet still alone. Carries through the endless dark. Every soul ignites a tiny spark. Echoes of love in the vast unknown. Together here yet still alone. Feel the pull, feel the tide. A rhythm we can't define. Skies blossom with the stars so high, our world unites tonight. Cracks in the night, let the cosmos bleed, planting in our hearts a universal seed. Time and space, both we're all the same in this eternal game.